functional occlusion, constricted patterns of wear. What does that look like? Someone has a constricted pattern of wear. Why is that a problem? I can describe them to you.
I don't know
They
if
come
another
in-
constricted pattern of wear is.
So this patient comes in, they break the incisal corner of their central incisor.
Have it?
Hmm?
Have it?
Nail
Very
biters
much
or something?
No, I'm just giving you a scenario, like
Okay.
a type. So they break that corner. You go in there to repair the broken chipped corner, and you notice that when the patient bites down, you're like, ooh, how am I gonna, there's not much room here for me to put composite in here.
Mhm.
The maxillary incisors are thin from the lingual.
Okay.
When you look at them, you can almost see through them, and you can see through the incisal edge, and they often have this notchy chipping edge because they've gotten thin. The lower incisors will have wear on this edge surface, right? And they're retroclined.
Right.
The patient kind of has this look. They have no overjet, they're banging right up against here. And you, being the super dentist that you are, know that you can fix that incisal edge and make it look really awesome. And they leave and they love you, and then 3 days later they come back and they say to the front desk, yeah, that thing that doctor did, it broke already. So you go back in and you do it again, and you use even better adhesive this time because that 3M shit sucks. So let's use some good stuff, and you redo it. Spend more chair time only to have it last 2 weeks this time. Right? So what is it? Is it a bonding problem? Is it a, what is it? It's a constricted pattern of wear. So those patients like really destroy stuff. They chip teeth, they make teeth mobile, they're like really difficult. So how do you manage someone with a constricted pattern of wear? What do you got to do?
Crown all their teeth and
They're like this. You've got to increase, you got to get AP, right?
Right.
You've got to get, they've got this, and you've got to somehow do this.
Right.
Well, can you bring the front teeth forward? Can you torque them forward? Can you bring the lowers back? Can you open the vertical dimension? Those are things you got to do.
Right.
So sometimes it might mean if we're doing these hybrids and their existing occlusion was constricted pattern, do you want to build them in that same spot? Probably going to put a lot of stress on your restoration, right? So maybe we need to develop a new occlusal scheme that's going to allow some freeway space there. That's a constricted pattern. Neurologic disorders would be patients that might have grinding issues because of various neurological conditions, you know, like Parkinson's and, you know, tardive dyskinesia and things like that.
Or certain medications too,
Absolutely.
right? That tend to make them do that.
Yeah, a lot of the serotonin reuptake inhibitors are notorious for causing bruxism. You have a patient that never brux, the next thing you know, they're on an SSRI and they're like grinding like crazy.
We had like 13 lectures on that in dental school.
Really?
We shut up about it, yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yes, SSRI related drugs.
Yeah.
You need to check the drugs that they're taking.
Yeah,
if they're drugs.
Paxil, Paxil's one of the worst I hear.
There's two, what,
Paxil's a bad
Yes,
one.
Paxil, that's the one that we're supposed to watch out for.
Yeah.
especially.
There's one that's, I don't know if it's an SSRI, but there's one called Buspar that's not supposed to do that, but it's related, but I don't know if it's a true
What a
SSRI.
weird-
I think you're supposed to switch them from Paxil to
strange
Buspar.
concept, huh?
So bruxism, here's what's interesting. The effects of a full arch maxillary occlusal splint on parafunctional activity during sleep patients, this study was done. The conclusions that were that the results revealed that the occlusal splint does not stop the habit of bruxism. The wear facets happen in the same location with the same pattern. During eccentric bruxism, the mandible was far beyond the envelope. So basically what this is saying is it doesn't matter what you do to the occlusal scheme because a bruxer, a neurologic bruxer is something they're doing at night. It's more of a sleep disorder. It's a sleep-related disorder, has nothing to do with the teeth. We as dentists, I was taught like, well, yeah, if you give them CR guidance and custom disclosure, then you blah, blah. That's nonsense. I have a patient who is a vicious bruxer, and I rehabbed him with the most perfect occlusal scheme that you could put in a textbook. It has disclusion, it has everything. And this guy wears a guard religiously, and you ought to see what he does to this thing. I mean, dude, I'm like, dude, are you taking this out in your garage, putting it in one of those anvils and taking a file to it? Because it is just aggressive notches in it, just aggressive. And this guy is just a bruxer, you're not gonna shut it off. So what do we gotta do to get the teeth out of the way, or get the teeth from not getting destroyed by someone that's going to do that?
So what, just put them in a big group function?
Put him in a night guard and said, don't even take a nap without this thing, because you're gonna spit out teeth if you wake up.
But you put them in more of a group function
Oh,
too,
yeah.
obviously, right?
Just broad,
Yeah.
broad, flat. I made that splint like the top of this table, so he could just go wherever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
A lot of us take dentists make, I watch them, they make splints, they take the tip of that burr and they start making these potholes in there. You wanna have that thing be flat so the patient can just move around without any restrictions.
Do you like to have canine eyes and stuff on night guards?
I mean, yeah, to a certain extent, just to take the drag as they go side to side away, so a little bit of a ramp,
Just
but
a
pretty
little-
flat.
yeah.
So essential keys is we talk about a place for the teeth to go. Remember when I talked about Victoria this morning and how she's like, Dr. Sullivan, my headaches went away. She didn't have a place. Didn't have a place to go, and so she had muscle
Yeah.
dysfunction. So maximum intercuspation that the brain can find repeatable and precise. She had dysfunction because her brain was just constantly just trying to find where.
So my wife, I made her a night guard, right?
Yeah.
And I had her flat plane, a lower, like lower's
Yeah.
comfortable. But anyway, she hated it because it was too much all over the place.
Mhm.
But right when I indexed it pretty heavily against the
Mhm.
maxilla, right? And so now she has a definitive spot.
Yeah.
And we did.
Well, it's probably because she's not a bruxer though.
Right.
And, you know, a bruxer, you want to let them move. If they
Right.
don't want a bruxer, they clench, they might just like to have a place. But I find the headache patients, I take the back teeth out of the equation, so it's more of a deprogrammer. They're just mostly, the best results I've had with headache patients is have no posterior contact. So they're just hitting up here. It shuts off the temporalis amazingly. So, I mean, you can do it with your pen right now, try it.
Well, I did the same thing for myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it helped me a
you
lot.
know, feel your temporalis, bite down your back teeth,
Yeah.
and then now take that,
You just
now
stopped
take
working
that
on it.
pen and put it between your front
That's
teeth.
what helped you, come on.
And bite down and feel the difference. Like, do it. Like, put your hands on the side of your temples, like flat against your temporalis. Flat like this. Squeeze on the master, bite down on your molars, clench over and over. Feel that muscle bulging out.
Yeah.
And do it with and without the pin. Flat with your fingers on your temporalis. So you see how it shuts them off? That's what a deprogrammer does. That's what an NTI does.
Deprogrammer.
NTI, Coist deprogrammer, splint with just a, you know, anterior.
A splint's basically just a night guard that goes to like first bicuspid or something. I've
Yeah,
never
or
actually
some of
made
them make
one
the full maxillary orthotic that covers all the teeth. Most of mine just go to the second bi, and I try to have function up here. And then the pathway, so we have a place, the maximum intercuspation, and the pathway is the envelope of function. In other words, here's the mandible, and what's the pathway this mandible takes? And it's, if you think about what we were taught in school, it's like bass backwards, right? We have these articulators that have the upper hinge do this. We don't do that. And then when we check our excursions, we go outside to in, right? We're checking excursions, we're going